Breaking news, TPS granted for Haitians. We're going to talk about what is TPS, how to apply for TPS, how not to lose your TPS, and what are alternatives to TPS in case you do lose it. Keep watching to find out how you and your immigration journey might be affected by changes in immigration. Please like this video and share it with any immigrant you think could benefit from the information. My name is Andres Mejer, and I'm an immigrant and an immigration attorney. In a recent TV appearance on ABC in West Laco, Texas, I explained how I came to the US as a child and learned English from watching Sesame Street. My family hired a New York attorney to get us a green card, but after 2 years, all he did was steal our money. He never filed a single document to help us, and he never got us our green card. I spent almost 10 years illegally in this country because we were victims of immigration fraud. I went to law school and became an immigration attorney to help people avoid the horror my family went through. I know what it's like to have the police come knocking on your door and ask for your father, and you're a kid, you're underage, and you're lying to that police officer telling them your father's not there when you know he is. I know what that's like. I don't want you or your children ever to go through the same thing. I want your journey to be less stressful than mine. Call us if you need help with an immigration issue. We are here to help. So let's get right to it. What is TPS? TPS stands for Temporary Protective Status. It is, as the name implies, a temporary immigration status provided to immigrants of certain countries that make it difficult or unsafe for the immigrant to be deported there. It is usually granted for 18 months, and the Secretary of Homeland Security can renew it or terminate the program when conditions change. TPS is designated by the Secretary of Homeland Security due to one of three circumstances: ongoing armed conflict, such as a civil war; two, an environmental disaster like an earthquake or a hurricane or an epidemic, or other extraordinary and temporary conditions. So what are the benefits of TPS? During the designated time period, TPS holders can't be deported from the US and generally are not detainable by immigration on the basis of their immigration status, unless of course they come in and they're trying to revoke that status. So you can't be put into proceedings and you can't be deported while you have it. You also are eligible for work authorization, and you also can be eligible for permission to travel. On May 22nd, 2021, Secretary Mayorkas designated Haiti for TPS for 18 months. This means any Haitian in the US as of May 21st, 2021 will be able to apply for TPS. You can't apply yet, so stay tuned, as the notice has to first be published, and then immigration will announce the date when you can apply. Quote, Haiti is currently experiencing serious security concerns, social unrest, an increase in human rights abuses, crippling poverty, and a lack of basic resources, which are exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, said Secretary Mayorkas. After careful consideration, we determined that we must do what we can to support Haitian nationals in the United States until conditions in Haiti improve so they may safely return home. Who's eligible for TPS and how do you file? So first, you have to be a citizen of a designated country to apply for TPS. Keep in mind, if you have more than one citizenship, you will likely not be granted TPS because you could go to that second country. For example, if you're a citizen of Haiti and France, so you're saying, listen, there's conditions in Haiti, but the US government could say, look, you can go to France. So you don't need TPS because there's another way to protect you. Today, the following countries have been designated for TPS purposes: El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. You must file Form I-821 during the initial registration period or the re-registration period. So pretty much every year and a half, you're going to need to refile. You can also file Form I-765 for work authorization. You can file Form I-131 if you need travel permission. You must have been residing in the US during the effective date of the program. When filing an initial TPS application, you must submit: 1, proof that you're a citizen of that designated country, for example, a passport or birth certificate; 2, Proof of when you entered the United States, for example, ticket to the United States, a passport stamp, or an I-94. 3. Proof that you have been continuously in the U.S. since the specified date, for example, employment records, rent receipts, or utility bills, school or medical records for you or your children, affidavits by church or organizations who know you and know where you've been living. How can you lose your TPS? The most common way to lose your TPS is conviction for a felony or 2 or more misdemeanors committed in the US. If you are arrested for any reason, make sure to call our office before accepting any plea. You wouldn't want to avoid a minor problem with a criminal matter and be prevented from getting TPS or being deported. Call us first. Secondly, you're inadmissible for a non-waivable crime or security ground. Third, you are subject to a mandatory bars for asylum. For example, if you participate in the persecution of others, or if you fail to timely file or refile your application. What are my alternatives if I lose my TPS? Well, if you have legal entry, either because you entered the United States legally before getting TPS, or once you had TPS, you filed for advanced parole, which is a travel permit, you left and then came back to the United States legally. So if you have legal entry, because you had it before or you got it with TPS, and you are married to a US citizen, or you have an adult US citizen child over 21, you can apply for your green card right now. If you don't have a legal entry, but you are married to a US citizen or have an adult child over 21 as a US citizen, you can apply for advanced parole, travel immediately to obtain legal entry so that you can then apply for a family-based green card. Third option, if you have a prior deportation or do not wish to travel for any other reason, we can apply for a waiver for you based on extreme and unusual hardship to your spouse or parents upon approval of a family petition and proceed with consular processing if the waiver gets approved. So, 1, you have a qualifying relative and you have legal entry. Secondly, you have a qualifying relative and you need to get legal entry. Or third, you've been removed, you have an order of removal, but you have a qualifying relative. Well, there's a way to fix it. Fourth, if you have ever been a victim of violent crimes such as domestic violence, assault, rape, or robbery, you might be eligible for a youth visa, which will also result in a green card. 5, if you have close family in the US military, you could apply for parole in place, which will also lead you to a green card. 6, if you have a US citizen or green card holder, minor children or parents or spouse. So basically, if you have a qualifying relative, which is a citizen or green card holder, parent, spouse, or child that has a significant medical issue or disability, you might apply for cancellation of removal. Lastly, if you do not qualify for any other immigration benefit, you might qualify for asylum based on your fear of returning to your country. If you need help with your immigration case, call our office. If we can't help you, we won't take your money. Very important for the Haitians, apply when you can. You can't apply today, so you need to wait a little bit. For the Venezuelans, you're running out of time. By September will be the end of your qualifying period. Make sure you file for TPS in a timely basis. Thank you to everyone who watches our videos. I appreciate your likes, shares, and comments. If there's something you want to know about U.S. immigration, write a comment below and we'll try to answer it on our page or in a future video. Thanks for watching.